So you've decided that you want to start on a running journey, and that is absolutely fantastic. Running for me has been an absolute game changer. But there's a couple of things that I would suggest anyone getting started on their running journey do so they don't set themselves up for failure. Like, it's really easy to think, oh,
I just need to go out there and run really hard and I'll make adaptations over time.
and that's how I become a better runner. But that's not absolutely true. There's a couple of things that I would suggest anyone do so they can set themselves up for success, and that's what we're going to talk about here in today's video. For those of you that are new here, my name is Brendon. I'm a Halifax, Nova Scotia-based runner who has lost over 150 pounds through the power of running. It's been an absolute game changer, like I said. It's changed my life in more ways than one. And that's what we talk about a lot here on the channel. We talk about running, we talk about weight loss, we talk about running shoes, habit change, all that good stuff. So if you want to get better at running and maybe lose a little bit of weight along the way, hit that subscribe button right down below and let's get into the video. When you're first getting started on your running journey, it's very, very, very easy to fall into the trap of thinking you need to go out there and smash yourself each and every day. Your legs have to be hurting, you have to be sweating so hard, you have to run 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, or a half marathon. Otherwise, there's no point of going out for a run. And that is just plainly false. When I first started running, I would run like maybe for a minute. And that was after walking for a month straight to get to that point. But like I said, I was very overweight when I first started. I was over 300 pounds to be exact. And it took me quite a while to even be able to run. Your starting point could be quite a bit different and you could see progress a lot quicker than I did. But just keep that in mind. When you're first getting started, don't feel bad if you can't go out there and run for long periods of time. One of the points that we're going to talk about very shortly actually is telling you to do that exact opposite. It's going to talk about going out for runs very frequently, but keep them relatively short. And with that in mind, let's start off with key point number 1. So key point number 1 is to start out very slowly. And what I mean by that is not only running very slowly, but keeping your mileage very low. And what I would suggest is for most people that are just getting off the couch that have been sitting there for 5 years, doing almost no exercise, is to get out there very frequently by doing walks. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, but I thought this was starting to run. Walking is a good entry point for a lot of people starting on their running journey, because if you start running and going out there too often, too quickly, and run too fast, your body's going to be sore. You might get injured because you're not used to putting any strain into your body. I know it can be disappointing to know that you can't go out there and start running hard right away, but that's just the reality, and that is totally fine. For me, like I mentioned, I started my running journey by walking for over a month straight because that's what I needed to do at the time. But over that time, I was building up strength in my legs. My body was getting used to moving again. And by the time that I was able to start going out there for runs, I set myself up to be in a much better position because I took the time to do it. And another great thing about starting slowly is that you can get out there very often. Like I mentioned before, I want you to get out there very frequently, almost every day if you can. Get out there and do a 5-minute walk or run every single day, or a 10-minute walk or run, whatever you're comfortable with. I've actually done a 10-minute guided walk/run podcast, so if you want to listen to that on your running journeys, a link to that in the description below. Habits are formed by doing things very consistently, and that's what we want to do here. We want to build a running habit into your life, and by not going out there and pushing yourself super hard, just starting off very slowly, it's going to allow you to get out there every day. The reason being is you're not going to be extremely sore, you're not going to be extremely fatigued, and you're not going to just want to sit on that couch because your body is so sore. No, you're going to set yourself up to be in a position that you're able to go out there every day. And that's what we want to do. That's key point number 1, is to start very slowly, but do it very often. Maybe go out there for a 5-minute walk every single day, and that will be enough to get the habit started. And the next key point is to have a goal in mind. And why I want you to do this is because it's really easy if you don't have a goal in mind to just think, oh, well, what's the point of going out there today? There's not really going to be a consequence if I don't. But if you set a goal for yourself, it's going to be a lot easier to just remain focused. At least it was for me. Goals might not work for everyone, but I would suggest that if you're starting right now in January of 2022, set a goal for 6 months from now. So June 2022, maybe set that goal to be run for 10 minutes if you can't run at all right now. Or if you want to go a little bit harder, push yourself to run for 20 minutes as a goal. Or if you're already a little bit more advanced, have a goal to run for 10 kilometers or 5 kilometers. Just have a goal that it's right now slightly scared you. When you think about the thought of running for 20 minutes, it might scare you. But that is honestly one of the best goals, because running for 20 minutes straight, if you're not running at all right now, is very, very achievable for most people. So I think that would be an excellent goal for a lot of you. So that's my next suggestion. Set a goal for yourself that is right now just slightly scary when you think about it, but it's attainable if you put in the work over the 6 months period. My next suggestion is for you to track your runs. Now, this is something that I did and I found very, very useful. And you don't need to spend any money to do it. Now, I used to use a piece of paper and a pen because I would know the distance of the loop I was walking on, and I could just time myself using like a timer on my phone, and I could track how long it was taking me to do my loop every day. And over time, I could see the progress I was making. But there are a lot of other free options such as Strava and Nike Run Club. I did a deeper dive on both of these things in my podcast. Again, link in the description. But there's also paid options like GPS watches. And GPS watches, they are a little bit expensive, especially if you're just getting started on your running habit. It might not be what you want to spend your money on at first. But if you are looking at getting a GPS running watch, I would suggest looking at the Coros watches. The Coros Pace 2 specifically is a great watch, and Coros didn't pay me to make this or anything like that. I actually don't even have a Coros watch with me right now, but I did get one sent to me months ago and I've sent it back since. And honestly, it has a lot of the features of the more expensive Garmin watches. Like the Garmin watch I wear right now is the Garmin Forerunner 945 LTE, and it's a great watch, but it is overly expensive when the Coros Pace 2, which is a third of the price almost, does majority of the features. So that's one I would recommend to you folks. But that's all to say, just track your runs somehow so you can reflect back on your progress. And those days that you're thinking to yourself, man, I'm just not a runner at all, I can't see any progress, like today was such a bad run, you can reflect back on your initial runs and see how much progress you've actually made. It's a big game changer. And my last suggestion, which might be one of the most important suggestions, is to make sure you do a warm-up. Now, it's very easy for you to think, oh, well, what's the point? Like, there's no real benefit to me doing a warm-up. I can't notice anything different when I do a warm-up. Trust me, you'll notice a difference once you start doing the warm-ups. For me personally right now, if I don't do a warm-up, I'm just not in the mindset to go for a run. Doing that warm-up is like a psychological switch to get me ready to go out there and run. It's a superpower. It's a free superpower, but honestly, what it does is really does allow me to get into that mind state to go running. And of course, there's those physiological benefits of getting your body warmed up, ready for that run, your range of motion's increasing, especially important if you've been sitting on the couch for a long period of time. Like for me, I'm an office worker, so my hips are very tight, my hamstrings are very tight, my back's tight. I'm just a broken mess. So by doing that warm up, my range of motion's increasing, the blood flowing and all that stuff. And my old creaky body is just a little bit more prepared to go out there and run. So I highly suggest you do some sort of warm up. And I'm going to be doing a video in the next couple of days on my warm up routine to share it with you folks. Now, it might not be the best routine, but it's one that has worked for me being an office worker anyway. One last thing I want you to keep in mind, not a key point, but just something very important as well, I think, is that your body knows effort, not pace. So your body doesn't know that you're running 4 minutes per kilometer. All it knows is that your heart's beating faster, you're breathing heavier, your legs are hurting because the muscles are tearing a little bit. It doesn't care that you're running 4 minutes per kilometer. So that should actually be a really encouraging thing because your body could be making those same adaptations if you're running slower, like a 6 minute per kilometer, 7 minute per kilometer. The pace does not matter. What matters is you're going out there and putting in the work. So when someone's running past you or they're going harder, don't think of it as such an embarrassing moment like I used to think. I would be really embarrassed when people would come flying past me because I'd think to myself, oh, they're going to think I'm some slowpoke and I'm just not putting in the effort. But in reality, they're probably putting in the same amount of effort as you are, but they've just been on their running journey a little bit longer. So they've built up that aerobic engine and the aerobic capacity and the muscular strength and endurance and all the other stuff that goes into building a faster runner. They've done that work already. And you're going to get there as well. As long as you continue putting in the work, you will get there as well. Just remember, your body knows effort, not pace. So spend time at your own personal effort level. And this could be a whole video on its own. That's why it's just going to be mentioned very quickly here. But I'm going to do a full video explaining this as well. So we have a lot of content to make, folks. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. If you want to hear more about this stuff, hit that subscribe button right down below and hit the notification bell because we have tons of content coming out for you newer runners. Thank you so much. I will see you on the next one.